Well, good people, I'm Dmitry. We are told that the Deathadder family has had an identity crisis, which I'm not sure how true that is because the Deathadder is one of the most popular names in the mice game. And so the new Deathadder V3 Pro, in 2 words, it's an ERGO-VIPER. I have never liked the original Deathadder shape. I felt it was too bulky, the flaring was too much, the finger grooves were too deep, and it wasn't for me. And all that's been fixed on the new mouse, which again I think might be one of the most popular mice in the world. Also, they've separated the primary clicks away from the main shell, leaving all those previous issues from the previous model in the past. I mean, hopefully, you know. But aside from all the improvements, Bluetooth has been removed, which I'm fine with, but it's one of those things that you are removing features while increasing the price point. Time to buy the V2 now, if that's your shape. And so this is the new Deathadder V3 Pro, aka Dove 3 or Dave, $149. 63 gram weight, all the latest tech from Razer, including the Gen 3 optical switches that feel nice and crispy, but are loud. So everything on this mouse is performance focused. There's no more RGB on the logo. The texture is coarse like their PBT keycaps for excellent grip. The bottom feet are super smooth. It charges with USB-C with a large enough opening at the front for other USB-C cables to fit instead of that stupid proprietary connection thing. The dongle is properly labeled with an extension brick included, but no way to stash the dongle inside the body of the mouse. The power/DPI button is at the bottom, just like on the Viper, and the notification LED to see your DPI settings is in front of the scroll wheel. It is kind of hidden.
The all-new H7? What's not to like? It's like a perfectly tuned guitar or a sharpened knife, keeping the user happy and your hardware safe. The best part is the redesigned interior that is full of potential with 360 rad support at the top and front, including 140mm mounts, a totally new cable management system and cable bar with of course vertical GPU support with this Gen 4 PCIe riser kit. The 3K styles are made to suit your needs, with the Flow being my favorite. I think this is the way to full tower your next build. Check out the new H7 when your heart desires.
It is impressive how well this thing is built. There's absolutely no rattling whatsoever as you move the mouse around. There's no rattling as you squeeze the mouse at all, and just feels like such a better build quality mouse versus my Deathadder V2 that just feels like it's gonna... I mean, I haven't even used this thing much, and it feels like it's about to fall apart. Plus, of course, the lack of holes is kind of a Razer staple while keeping that weight under control. So 63 grams for this mouse size for me is perfect, but I'm not sure how the rest of the gaming community will perceive it, simply because it's just such a massive departure from the weight of the previous wireless Deathadder. But I'm here to say that the balance of this mouse is absolutely perfect. There are, of course, remnants of the original Deathadder in here, starting with the relatively large side buttons. The mouse from the left side is very much a Deathadder, but with a higher hump and a higher scroll wheel too. The scroll steps are lighter than my Viper, but it sticks out more on the Deathadder, which I like. The biggest difference is the lack of flaring on the front triggers, especially on the right side. So now there's a comfortable place for my fingers. This is a huge plus for my hybrid grip style, but also because the finger grooves are not so deep and the overall shape feels more modern. So 5 minutes with this mouse and I was flying. It is an easy shape to get used to, and I would actually prefer the new Deathadder over the Viper for FPS. Which might sound strange, but I feel like there's just the right amount of ergonomics in the shape so you can still go full ham with your flicks and etc. This new shape does remind me of the Corsair Saber and the X-Lite Wireless V2, but the slimmer and sharper back section of the Razer is much better for those additional wrist movement adjustments, at least for me, since the mouse can tuck below your palm without bumping into anything. Every Deathadder comes with grip tape if you really want to rubberize every surface that you make contact with, and it really helps to secure the mouse in hand despite having really good coarse texture by default. And it also kind of mimics the rubberized texture of the previous Deathadder V2 Pro, the wireless one, of the side grips. So if you're coming from that and you really like the rubber texture on the sides, this is one way to mimic that. Nice. And also, these are not permanent. For example, you can put them on, you can take them off a couple of times, and yeah, you'll have a very nice secure mouse in the hand. Now, the lack of RGB is a huge win for battery life. It's rated up to 90 hours of continuous usage with, of course, that sleep timer coming in handy to save on battery life. And I've been using it for just over a week and I have not been able to kill it. Unless I'm using the 4K Hertz dongle, which you can actually see the depreciation of battery life much faster. It quarters your battery life, but the recharge time is 3 hours, 0 to 100. Fairly fast. So everything is kind of perfect on paper with the new Deathadder, but does it play nice? Nothing will prepare you against bush campers, but it is definitely one of the very few mice that immediately felt comfortable and felt one-to-one in terms of my aim at 800 DPI without anything poking me, without anything feeling weird on my hybrid grip style. And yeah, this is definitely going to be in my top 5 of all time. I find this particularly comfortable because I used my wrist for those finer aim adjustments aside from my elbow, and because of this back hump over here, it just slides so well underneath my palm, and if that's you, you're gonna find this really comfortable too. I do have a few complaints though. You cannot remap the bottom button to anything else in Synapse, just like on the Viper, and that's a drawback. If you're coming from the previous versions of Deathadder where you had the 2 buttons and you can assign those to something else outside of DPI. And also the price point, 150 bucks for this thing is a bit much right now, especially in the Deathadder lineage. The previous wireless Deathadder was $129. You can pick it up on sales. And I feel like this should have been in the same price category so that it would allow people to upgrade without feeling like you're moving up a ladder and staying in the same family. Also because mice like the X-Lite V2 Wireless exist, which is half the price, the stuff from Glorious 2 and the ergonomic space, and I feel like Razer is just not taking into account all the competition that is available, that is wireless and ergonomic, and potentially that's gonna hurt them a little bit. It would have been awesome if the 4K Hertz dongle was included in the $150 price point with the new Deathadder, which by the way, pairing is absolutely seamless, and I can already feel like a very tiny improvement in my click registration and click latency. Even though I don't have the instruments to test it, it feels a little bit more responsive. But having said all that, I find it to be an almost perfect ergonomic wireless mouse. It's super lightweight, very comfortable, no holes, so no gunk over time. And feature-wise, I find it to be, quite future-proof, and also battery life is good at 90 hours. And the potential to connect it to a 4K Hertz dongle. So again, giving you the potential to get into more of that competitor scene, but again, it's catering to that really high-performance competitive crowd, and I'm not sure if the Deathadder people are them. But you let me know what you think of the new Deathadder V3 Pro. Dave, I'm Dmitry. Thanks so much for watching. Really apologize for the echo, and I'll talk to you in the next video.